Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Scrassy, and this is a continuation from our line trace series that we've got. It's not really a series, but it's just divided into multiple parts. So this is the part 2 of it. We just did part 1, we're going straight into part 2 because there was a little bit of a setup for it, and I wanted to make sure that I kept these videos nice and short. So dividing it into a 2-part just makes it a lot easier for you guys to have a little bit of a break in between. And the last part was really kind of setting up and explaining what is a line trace and what does it do and how do games use it. This part 2 will be pretty much how to actually replicate what I've done. Now that we've got everything set up, we'll be able to go straight into it and we can set up the line trace, and we're going to set up the actual less advanced version first. Now we've got everything set up. This is our called weapon line trace without cam setup. Cam is short for camera. Because what we'll do is the other one, we use a camera setup first with line trace. We basically fire 2 line traces. This one we just fire 1. So what we're doing is first, we want to get our weapon, okay? And we want to pull it off. Make sure also that your weapon is also assigned to your gun that you're using. In this case, it's SK_FP gun, okay? That should have the muzzle attachment on it. So now that you pulled out your weapon, what we're going to do is we are going to get our socket location. All this is doing is saying, hey, this skeletal mesh that we have, this gun, get that muzzle socket that we went and made earlier in part 1. And remember how I said it's cap sensitive? Go and I said make sure that it's a capital M for muzzle, so you can follow exactly everything I'm doing. So you want to call this, if it's under what do you call it? Not a capital, you can just do just muzzle normally, but just whatever your muzzle name is or whatever you called it, put it in here. A better way to do it, you can copy and paste it and just put it in here, but just do that, okay? What we're doing is then we're getting the socket location in the world, okay? This is our start point. We're gonna plug that straight into our line trace. This part here is the more complicated part. All it is, we're getting our first person camera because we want to get it from the middle, right? We want to start from a gun, but we want it to work our way into the middle. So what we're doing is we're getting our camera. We're going to get our forward vector. Now, forward vector is a little bit hard to explain, but it's basically our forward position. It's wherever we're looking. So if we look left, our forward position is now left. If we look forward, our forward position is forward. If we look up, our forward position is up. If you see if I go like this and I shoot, no matter where I look, right here now, this is my forward position. If I shoot here, my forward position is where I'm looking. It's that, see that dot? It's that line is going in the direction where my character is facing. Okay, that's our forward vector. We want to times that forward vector by our range. And our range, remember we set it to 10,000. That's 10,000 units. You can make it as low or as big as you want. Reason why we do 10,000 is because that's just a value that I came up with. It's a good kind of range value. If you want to have a pistol, you might put it at 5,000. You might want to have half the range. Or maybe if you have a sniper, you want it to be at 30,000. A crazy number. So you can put the range to whatever you want. The longer or the bigger the numbers is, the longer the line trace will be. Okay. To do this, you can just pull off here and go and type that little star in. It'll do multiply. And then just right click on the pin and convert it to a float. So then it just takes one number instead of, because we're only timesing our forward direction. We're not timesing a bunch of different vector variables. We're just timesing our forward position. Okay. And then you can plug your range into it. Okay. Done. And what we're doing is we're getting our forward vector, which is still 0. It's right where our character's location is, or our camera's location is. And then we're going to add 10,000 units in the forward direction. So now what's happening is that if we shoot, you can see that it's getting our forward position and it's adding 10,000 units in front of us. And that's the end. You can see it's 10,000 away from us in the forward direction. That's why we times it. At the end, we want to add, okay, we want to add that calculation that we made, right? Our range. So it's 10,000 ahead, right? And we want to add that on top of our location because we still want it to come from somewhere. So we get our location, and this is basically what we're doing because this is almost similar to an endpoint, but it's for our location. So we're saying, hey, get 10,000 units forward, okay? And from our forward direction, get 10,000 units forward, and we want to add that to our location. And what that's going to do is that's going to finish it up, wrap it up, and say, hey, we're now get our character's location and move it 10,000 meters in forward in this certain direction. Okay, that's why we're doing a plus. At the very end, we want to add that and put that into the end location. Okay, hopefully that makes more sense. You can also pause the video and copy what I'm doing and read these little unit things that I've got here. I actually got to change that to 10,000 like that. You can actually pause it and you can read what these things are doing here. Okay, now you notice if you do that, you can set this up to be a debug key right mouse button or left mouse button, whatever you want. If you click that, you can now see it's on the line trace, doing everything we want. However, it's the bad line trace. It's not going into the middle completely, right? And the further we get, again, it doesn't go into the middle. It gets further away from the middle, okay? That is the line trace. That's just a normal line trace that you can do if you want to set up something real quick. But we don't want that. If you're making a game, you want to make sure that it's as polished as it possibly can be. You don't want to make it and just not really care about it. So now we've got that done, okay? What we're going to do is that we're going to do this line trace. This is the better line trace, okay? You can see it's basically the same setup, except it has a few different nodes here that we've added onto it, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm using the left mouse button for this one, okay? What we want to do is we're going to get our first person camera. We want to get the player camera, okay? We want to get 2 nodes out of it. We're doing the same thing similar to this one here, okay? We want to get our world location. We want to get our forward vector. The get world location, again, all it's doing, instead of getting socket location, we're getting our world's location of our camera. So wherever our camera is in the world space, in the world. Okay, we're getting its current location. We're going to plug that straight into the start. Okay, that's where we want it to start. We're going to get our camera's forward vector. Again, this is like the forward vector for our camera we did before. We are basically just saying, hey, this is our forward position. We're going to times that by our range, which is 10,000. So we're going to say, hey, this is our forward position. We're looking this way. Let's add 10,000 units forward that way. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add that to our get world location. So we're going to add our 10,000 meters forward in a certain direction on top of our actor location. Okay. And that's going to get the final location where we want the endpoint. You want to plug that into the end. Done. Okay. Make sure your draw debug type is set to none. Okay. You can actually put it on if you want for duration, just to test it out, but you want to leave it on none or you'll end up shooting 2 line traces, and that's what we're doing here. What we're doing here is, I forgot to also talk about the return value. Return value is similar to like the out hit, but instead of being instructed, it's just a boolean. It gives an output and it's just saying, hey, did we hit anything? Okay. And we want to do a branch. Now, if we did hit something, okay, we want to plug it into this custom event. Now, to make a custom event, just do this, custom event, and call it fire weapon line trace, okay? And then just move it underneath somewhere here, okay? And then also add, after you compile, add an input, and make sure it's a vector because this is a location in the world. We want it to be a vector, that's why we're using it. And call it end hit location because this will be the end hit location. And then you're going to make sure you spawn 2 of them in, plug true into one, plug false into the other. And then you want to go out of the out hit, you're going to break it, and we're going to get the location, plug that into the top one, and trace end into the bottom one. The reason why we're using the location for the top one is because we're saying, hey, if we did hit something, we want to get that location hit, and we want to use that as the end hit result, okay? Because the whole gist of it, this is how this new line trace is working. What's happening is that we're actually firing 2 line traces. Now, because what's happening is that if we actually shoot a line trace from our camera and we shoot it forward, it's going to be in the middle no matter how far or close we are, because there's no weird angle we're going on. It's always forward. It's always going to hit in the middle. When it comes from the middle of our camera, just going straight ahead, it's always going to hit straight dead in the center. So what we're doing is saying, hey, if we actually did hit something, with this line trace, we want to use that hit location, because that hit location is going to be a certain distance away, but always in the middle. We're going to plug that in. If we didn't hit anything though, what we're going to do is that we're just going to simply use our end location here. We're going to use the trace end and we're going to plug it in there. Because what we're going to do is we're just going to say, hey, just if we didn't hit anything, we're just going to shoot. Let's say we shoot the sky, like we're shooting here. Eventually it's going to reach the middle. So either way, it's fine. If you leave it as blank, it will just be 0, 0, 0, and it's going to shoot your line trace into the center of the world, which is, I think, over there somewhere. So that's why we do it. It may seem a little bit confusing at the start, but that's why you gotta, that's how you do it. So after that, all we're doing now is we're going to fire a second line trace that we actually want to see. And this is very simple. All we're doing is just saying, hey, let's get the weapon, and we're doing the same thing as this one. Okay, we're going to get the weapon, get its socket location in the world, of type muzzle. So put that word in there. And we're going to plug it straight into the start. And then we're just going to get our end hit location and plug it into the end. And that's it. That's done, guys. So now, if you set up everything correctly, okay, I'm going to move this over here for you guys, because I know a lot of people actually might want to see if this is all correct. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to move this here, move this down here a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in like this. There you go. If you want to right now, you can pause the video and just make sure that you've done everything correctly. Okay? I know a lot of people, they'll just try and skip past, and that do YouTube videos, they'll try and skip past as fast as they can, and you don't even see what the hell's going on. So you can pause the video right now and see exactly everything and make sure everything's all nice. Same thing with here. Okay? Awesome. Now that we've got that all done, we go and play. You can see now that when we shoot the line trace, it does everything we want. Okay, it hits exactly where we want. No matter how far or close we are, it will always hit the center of the screen. Okay, like that. Awesome. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and figured out exactly how to go and make line traces, stuff like this. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, especially it being like a 2-part kind of thing. So yeah, I hope you get a lot from this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.